Buddy, how's it going? Welcome to Ox Talks. Do me a favor and let me know, first off, if you guys can see me and hear me. Give me a couple messages and let me know if we are good to go here. I trying this for the first time, so it's important that we do this the right way. Let me know what's going on, guys. I see four people here. Says we're live. Trying to set this up using the laptop and my HD camera that I use for Zoom calls. Barton K, Nicole White. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Can you see me? And how is the sound? Sound is good. Okay, thanks, Nicole. Barton K, I'm back from Europe. Sitting in the house here today. The family is at a movie and doing some errands. So I thought I would try this morning. I actually was just playing around really early while I was having coffee. Hey, Mark, Jelaine, Griffin, thanks. I can actually read the comments using the laptop here as opposed to my iPhone. But I tried to just play around with it this morning, make sure the audio was good and everything was fine. And I thought I was going live. It scheduled something and I canceled it. So it was early on. Most of you guys might have been asleep then. But all right, Pistol Pete, Roger. Hey guys, good to see you. Back from Europe. I will tell you this: I underestimated the toll that the traveling was going to take on me a little bit, just in terms of the getting back here to a 12-hour flight from Rome to LAX, direct flight. But we got up in the morning, 4 a.m. Italy time on Wednesday, boarded the plane at 9:30 Italy time, 12-hour flight, and then got in LAX at 12:30 p.m. So 3 hours later, we picked up 9 hours plus three is that's your 12 hours. Um, yeah, it was tough on me. I'm not used to the long distance travel. I'm not, for those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, I'm not great with that kind of stuff. I'm not really a big fan of airplanes. Fine with it, just it's just cramped. I did do it. Got an extra legroom seat, so it was comfortable. But still, 12 hours in an airplane for me, you kind of feel claustrophobic. I don't know about you guys, but that whole recirculated air thing, it's not great, right? So appreciate all of you checking out some of the shorts I posted on the from the trip and some of the photos I posted. I just wanted to just share some of that with you, so you all could live a little bit vicariously through me. We had a good trip, good family time. Appreciate you guys for supporting that and checking it out. So let's see where this live stream goes. I think we'll start doing for sure on Saturdays, maybe do like a Saturday live stream. I talked about a couple a week, but for sure on Saturdays, if everybody can tune in, because we can do a recap of the week, discuss current events, kind of in hindsight what happened. Just reading about the hotel, the Greenbrier being auctioned off. Okay, all right, Donna. See, I'm reading comments, guys, so sorry if I'm focusing this way. I don't know. I'm looking at my camera on top of the laptop. A little distracted here, but look, let's start with this format. Let's do Saturdays for a while. Go as long as you guys want to go. It says there's 39 people in the room. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I've got double that in eyes looking at me now, so I'll try not to fumble and screw up. And let's just talk. This is not as much about me speaking to you. It's more about us talking, collaborating, you guys giving me, yeah, commercial flying is a nightmare. That's true. It'd be nice to go private, just obviously the cost of that. Look, the upgrade to a first class ticket was $5,000, I believe. I did not upgrade to first class. I upgraded to a premium seat with, I think I was an emergency, whatever. I had just no one in front of me, so I was able to stretch out. But $4,000 or $5,000 upgrade to a first class seat, and that was one way, not round trip. 43 people in the room. Appreciate you guys very much. What's up, Slim Shady? How you doing? So we have a lot to talk about. Let's first start by again recapping. This is again you guys collaborating with me. We'll get to a point later on where if you guys want, we'll do a question and answer session where you guys can throw some stuff at me, and I will do that. But I want to not avoid or let's say step away from what happened this week. We had a big sell off in the stock market Thursday and Friday, and I did a video yesterday. I got someone posted a comment this morning telling me I have no idea what I'm talking about. And all I do is I'm a gold salesman, and I should understand that real wealth is made in the stock market, and that's where everybody needs to be. I think I responded to his comment or his or her comment and said, "Look, I don't profess to be a market expert. I'm definitely not anti-stock market. I think that things are overvalued right now." And I'll share an article with you in a few minutes that just hit zero hedge about an hour ago, talking about Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway selling a whole boatload of their Apple position, a key and a core point or a key position in their portfolio. So, what does that tell you? We know that Berkshire has been liquidating Bank of America recently. Um, Magnus says, okay, Roger, the Mag 7 stocks are tanking. Well, look, they ran up so fast, right? I mean, it's just there's no fair value determination right now. It's a joke. I mean, the metrics that used to be used to determine whether a stock was a viable acquisition or something you want to add to your portfolio, the stuff's out the window. When the Fed is printing money at the rate that we're printing money, how do we determine what's fair? What's fair market value? So anyway, back to Berkshire Hathaway. We know they've been selling Bank of America stock, and now they are selling a big portion of their Apple holdings. So, and look at, I'll share the article with you in a few minutes. What I read is that Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett were selling that position at a time when the Apple shares were actually going up in value. They were increasing in price. So, what does this guy, the Oracle of Omaha, what does this guy see that, let's say, the average investor may not see? They always have advanced intel. They're all in. If you're not inside, you're outside, right? What did George Carlin say years ago? It's a club, and we're not in it, or you're not in it, something to that effect. So let's just talk about the sell-off. It happened, and is this a precursor of things to come? Where is this going to go from here? Look at a lot of us. By the way, let me go back to that guy's comment from this morning, jumping around a bit here. Says Varden, root cause of recession is spending, manipulate rates all you want, won't solve the problem unless you address the root cause. That's right. But look at, we have a government out of control on spending. They can't rein in spending. Okay. And they want to keep increasing all of our taxes to try to cover their reckless spending. You can only do that so much, right? Maybe that'll change with the coming election. We'll see. Um, Let me see what else you guys are posting here. I want to address comments. I'm not trying to look over to one side, but I do want to read your comments, and that's part of this interaction. So forgive my delay if I'm reading comments so I can address you guys and respond. I can talk to you in the regular videos all week and discuss current events and speak kind of at you guys, but this is more meant to be interaction. So I do want to address comments. Trace, Americans are putting up with all of this. How much more will everyone tolerate? I mean, that's true, but you know what? People don't really want conflict. At the end of the day, uh, Americans, obviously, I don't want to generalize too much, but a lot of the Americans are soft. They want their freebies, they want their handouts. Uh, they want their food stamps or whatever it is. So look, is anybody really going to form a big enough coalition to kind of stand up? I doubt it. I mean, I'm reading a book right now, and I was going to do this later on, but let me share it with you now. Can you guys see that? I hope it's not backwards on the screen. It says it's called The Great Depression, a Diary, Benjamin Roth. That's the book I've been reading. I'm not done with it. I'm only about a third of the way through. But it shares the plight of a solo practitioner attorney during the Great Depression, 29, 30, 31. And it's a daily diary, almost daily. A Greg, good book. One of you guys, I don't know if you're on watching right now, one of you recommended this book to me. And I bought it before the trip so I could read it in part on the plane and throughout the trip. I'm taking my time with the book because it's incredible, because it gives this almost daily, let's say, recitation, or it's a diary actually, it says, of what was going on day to day in this town of I think it's Youngstown, Ohio, where this lawyer, sole practitioner lawyer, similar to myself, was in real time recording his perspective, his analysis of the unfolding depression, how it was impacting his town, how it was impacting his profession, how it was impacting businesses, real estate, the banks, the stock market. And let's talk back to the stock market. You see repeatedly how everybody was saying to buy the dip. And we have 69 people in the room. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's Saturday afternoon. Everyone's has things pulling at their time with family. I just thought midday Saturday, maybe it'd be a good time to go on here and talk for a while. So thank you guys very much for being here. Old Roscoe, if Uncle Sam doubled my Social Security, sure, I'd take it. Yeah, well, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately. You gotta wonder, obviously, who are your friends and who are the allies, and who are not the allies. And, without saying too much, obviously, you've gotta decide, whether you're going to look out for yourself, provide for yourself. I'm 54 years old. I never looked at Social Security as a lifeline. From my perspective, I assume it's not going to be there when I get to retirement age. And those of you on Social Security, let me know in your comments: is that covering your monthly expenses and your bills? I would venture to say it's probably not even coming close. Yeah, Pistol Pete. People want to be taken care of. It's true. They do. They want to take the easy road. It's just a fact of life. All right. And they want to be taken care of. They want to be coddled. They want to be told everything is going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, back to this book. It's excellent, guys. And again, I don't get anything. I'm not selling anything. I don't get anything from suggesting this. I'm not done with the book. I'm taking my time going through it because it's so impactful. I read 10, 20, 30 pages and I put it down. I reflect on it and go back to it. But it's amazing because the thoughts that he was expressing in that book, at least at the point I'm at in the book, is that the everybody had this buy the dip mentality. When the stock market initially uh, went down, the everybody was saying, "Well, this must be the low. Let's buy in," and they got destroyed because they bought in too soon. Now it's very difficult to obviously time in any market, whatever it is, to time the collapse. Also very difficult to time, when you've come out of the bottom and you're heading back up. In this book, what they're saying, it was like summer of 1932 when the stock market actually, that was in hindsight the bottom. But in 1930, 1931, all the pumpers were saying, it's time to buy. And all those folks that bought in too soon got destroyed. They lost their money. 3 to 5 years, I believe, the crash. Okay, so 29, 30, 31, 32. I think that's about right. 3.5 years was the crash. Great Depression. Are we heading back there? What do you guys think? We talk about ourselves in the markets. A lot of us look at, to go back to that one person's comment that I responded to this morning. I'm not a market expert. I'm not anti-stock market. I think there's going to be a time to buy. Are the metrics going to be more fair value? Will there be any kind of determination of how we can gauge that big crash coming? Believe. I mean, if I say that, people say, "Well, you're doom and gloom. You know what you're talking about. You're just pumping gold." Look, I do believe in metals. I do believe in gold. It's very liquid. And I think it's an asset. It's not hackable. We're talking about the hacking thing and my debit card. It's just something I believe everyone should have as a source of security and backup. But I definitely don't come out here and say, look, you should be in all gold or be in all cash. I think cryptos, I do own some cryptos. I think owning real estate, I own real estate now. I'm going to be buying a lot more real estate as this thing comes back down and starts to really, really tank. Same with the stock market, guys. I mean, there'll be a time to buy into stocks. Now, there's a lot of us, a lot of viewers, look, that aren't in a position to do that. Betsy, I have silver. Gold's too. You said God's gold's too much for me. I understand, but silver's great. Silver is uh, so undervalued right now, and I think again, not trading or financial advice. I'm just saying I think it's going to have its day, and we'll see. Silver's interesting because it's going to be tied to some of the solar stuff, some of the green stuff, and it may have some further dips. But I think that I think it's a smart play. Betsy, our real estate is absolutely the way to go. It is if you buy real estate at the right price. If you buy wrong, or if you take on the wrong type of financing, if you're not paying cash, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So there are pitfalls with anything. And this guy this morning I responded to, I said, look, most people just don't understand. I get so many clients that come in my office. Real estate will crash hard too. Repent and believe. I think for sure. From my perspective, it's not the right time to buy. Am I seeing more open house signs in my community here? Absolutely. Is it coming down? I heard 8% across the country. Maybe that's the case. But it's going to come down a lot more as I think the markets will, the stock market. And don't think for a second that paper gold and paper silver prices won't also come down. Somebody commented this morning saying it's not, or yesterday saying, well, it's the paper price is not reflective of the physical price. I understand that. But when you go to your local coin shop, or to the pawn shop or wherever it is to sell, they're going to give you the spot price as reflected by the paper price as well, right? So understand that. But I'm a physical holdings person. I do not trade or own paper ETF gold or paper ETF silver. That's not my game. If you want to look at the miners, look, they will go up exponentially. Again, not trading advice. I think as this unfolds, gold is especially liquid at 1943 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Okay. That's OP. I like gold, platinum, and silver mostly. Well, look, those are the three key metals, obviously. So jumping around here, just on 88 people watching now. Again, appreciate you if you're just tuning in, sitting here at the house. Family's out seeing a movie, doing some errands, and I wanted to just touch base. Again, markets sold off. What does that mean for a lot of us aren't in the markets? I'm not in the market right now. I'm in cryptos. I've got some metals, cash position, real estate. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on the markets, okay? And then I'm going to jump in when the time is right. But for a lot of us, I'm at great videos from Italy. Last summer I went to Italy. The old world buildings and churches were amazing. Yeah, it was amazing to me to actually say I'm sitting there with this in front of me or behind me and to experience it firsthand. It was life changing for me. Really, really enjoyed it. Market may even out next week. It might. Look, we're in an election year. We have a lot going on. We know the smoke and mirrors is in full force. The man behind the curtain, as we talk about, is definitely real. There's no doubt they're going to do everything they can to keep this propped up. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jerome Powell come out and make some kind of a further statements to try to bolster the negative sentiment, maybe even to do some kind of emergency rate cut if the sell-off continues. I don't think a couple of days is going to mean anything or change the game plan from the Fed, but certainly if we continue to see this sell off in the next week, it very well might have an impact. So let me share the story I saw from Zero Hedge just like I said an hour ago. It says Buffett calls the top. This is the title of the article. Berkshire quietly dumps half its Apple shares amid unprecedented selling spree. And I'm sharing this because we have to watch what the wealthy people do. Not in terms we're not on that level. We're not doing that. We're not in the club, so to speak. But this portends what's going to probably take place in the future. And it says. Um, Far from dumping only Bank of America stock, the 93-year-old Omaha billionaire has been quietly dumping his most iconic holding in an unprecedented selling spree that sent Berkshire cash pile soaring by a record $88 billion to an all-time high 277 billion at the end of quarter two. Berkshire sold a net 75.5 billion worth of stock. 75.5 billion with a B. What does that mean? How do you guys interpret that? AG deflationary depression incoming. I think that's probably where this thing goes. Is a deflationary situation, unfortunately. Get out of cryptos, Matt. Okay. I have I said I've got a crypto position. It's not a major position. It's enough that if there's some kind of a moonshot, I'd make a few bucks. That's it. I had a client years ago. I'll tell you the story. Pay me uh, in Bitcoin. He paid me $750 fee in Bitcoin, and within a few years, I took it, and within a few years, I think that went to like $7,500 in value or something. And I sold some of that, bought some Ethereum, bought some XRP, diversified it, put a few more dollars in. I don't have a lot of crypto holdings. I don't understand it enough, really, guys, to be able to expound on that. I think, if anything, I say this from experience, being a 30-year business and real estate lawyer. Most people that invest in certain things do not understand what they're investing in. And my comment this morning to this guy that was kind of hating on me, I said, look at everybody becomes a Charles Schwab. Every soccer mom and worker has a stock tip for everybody. Tell their friends to pile in. Oh, this is going to be the next greatest thing. And guess what? It oftentimes turns out not to be, and people lose a lot of money. Right. So when you start seeing just your regular people sitting around the office giving stock tips, that's when you should be running for the exits, from my personal perspective. So what I was saying in this response this morning is everyone becomes a stock expert, right? I see it across the board with any kind of investment, real estate, buying into a partnership. Uh, breeze, breeze way late, but here now. Thank you. 90 people watching. I see it a lot where everyone believes they're an expert. They don't do their due diligence. They don't understand what they're really investing in. They're not looking at the pitfalls or the risks. They're not hedging their downsides. Same thing with the stock market, guys. They don't understand how to hedge their portfolio. Most of my friends that are in the market, they're not. They are simply in the market when the stocks go up, they make money. They're relying on dividends to trying to reach for yield. But what happens when your principal falls, is falling and falling and falling? Okay, maybe you need those dividends to pay your bills or to service debts. But at the end of the day, if you're losing your what on your principal value, again, what does that mean at the end of the day? If you lose the value you have, but at some point when companies get into trouble, and read that book if you guys think it's important or meaningful to you, what happened was companies started to cut dividends back during the Great Depression. Right, they eliminated dividends. United States has 10 to 15 years left. Okay, I mean, watch Peter Schiff on crypto. Sachs Realty had a video with him on recently. Yeah, I saw a couple of things with Sachs Realty. That guy's he's got a lot of views, a lot of subscribers. Seems like a pretty just a down to earth guy. Don't know much about him. And a couple of things popped up on my feed last week, and I did watch a couple of the interviews. Pistol Pete, I like crypto stuff, but there is a chance quantum computing may eventually overtake it. Okay, that's kind of beyond my pay grade, but I get it. I get it. I just anything to go back to digits on a screen, anything that is, that you don't actually hold it. And I know I'm going to get bashed for, being a gold pumper, silver pumper, but I don't know. Cash in hand, gold, silver, things that you actually own. Shared a story, I think, last week during this, let's say, system down situation with CrowdStrike, when it affected a lot of airlines, it affected a lot of businesses that were unable to reboot their computers. And a friend of mine tried to trade some stock with his Schwab account. He had to actually take a physical check into Schwab to capitalize his account to make some trades. And the reality is that all that stuff is digital on a screen, guys, right? So when the system really goes down, and I say really goes down and stays down, then what do you have? I mean, it's digital on a screen. What can you hold? What can you get to? What can you use to immediately capitalize your expenses, your bills, food for your family, and crypto? You can own your own keys. I understand that, but still, don't you have to have access to internet to transfer that, and liquidate it? It doesn't if it's again, if it's on a hard wallet. Again, I apologize to you guys who are crypto people. I don't want to insult anybody. I don't know all of the lingo, but my understanding is you still have to have access to internet to be able to transfer that stuff and convert it back to dollars. Then you have to be able to get those dollars into an account and get those dollars out of your account, which is, in your hands for usage, I suppose. Cool white. End of the day, no one's coming to save us. We need to prepare, prep, and pray. Do the best you can for your situation. There's a storm that's coming, and we are not all on the same boat. And we discussed that. This channel is inclusive. We're not all in the same, let's say, economic situation. And that's the beauty of this. We're in different situations. And so everybody's input is very, very, very important. And I want that. It's a very inclusive channel from my perspective. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm a lawyer for a living. So what? What do you guys do? Do you drive? Do you drive truck? Are you a programmer? Are you a doctor? I mean, what is your line of work, and what are you seeing? That's what I want to encourage on this channel is let's say participation, right? And feedback from people across all stratas. And I tried to share that a bit and convey that in my videos from Europe, transferred to a cold wallet. Okay. Um, the shy one. Right. But does that solve the issue of then getting it? How do you get it from a cold wallet into hard dollars in your hands? There are steps that have to be taken that require, I believe, a functioning internet. Am I correct on that? Tons of counterparty risk in crypto, Pistol Pete. Okay. Yeah, look, there's not many assets that don't have counterparty risk. Literally, unless it's just physical gold or silver, I'll get accused of pumping that. I don't have any affiliate links on my channel. I don't sell anybody's stuff. I just, I do what I do. And for me, I'm a cash and carry guy for the most part. I know that's old school, but I had to go in and walk out with it in hand. Okay. You start buying this stuff on any other platform. Obviously, there's paper trails, and you use your own discretion on that. I do construction engineering. Bubba the Kid, welcome. Barton, I'm a JD turned into project manager. Okay, all right. What else do we have here, guys? Cannot hold Bitcoin in your hand. And again, I'm not anti cryptos. Is the stuff is gonna go up? It probably will. Who's that? Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki used to be the big gold and silver guy. Now he's a big crypto guy. I've been reading some stuff on him. He's got a tremendous amount of OPM, leverage, which a lot of these guys, big time folks do, right? They're leveraged out, and they're billionaires. Okay, so there's a the right time they will do that. Use money, use credit. I see him a lot out there really, really pushing on cryptocurrencies. So the article I was sharing, I got sidetracked. Sorry, guys. It's a lot of multitasking here, trying to read the comments, share some thoughts, and get my flow going here. But that's part of finding my way with this live stream. 91 people in the room. Appreciate you guys very much. So anyway, Warren Buffett is selling. He's selling Bank of America stock. He's selling a lot of his Apple holdings, Apple stock. What does that mean? You know, Again, he was selling it when the stock was going up, and that's what the successful people do. They don't buy when it's on the way up. They're usually selling when they see something or see a signal, right? They're getting out at the right time and they're going to cash. Okay. So he dumped half his Apple holdings, uploaded a stunning $84 billion worth, or 390 million shares in Apple at a time when the stock was appreciating rapidly, especially after the melt up following the WWDC 24 developer conference. In other words, it says the smart money was furiously dumping to retail because, as we noted at the time, hedge funds were certainly not buying tech at this time. There's been a rotation, again, not a stock market expert, been a rotation out of some of those chip stocks and some of the Nasdaq stuff. And I think gold and silver are going to feel some pressure if the market keeps selling off because it's liquid. So, and it's paper gold and silver. Most people are selling that to cover margin calls or to raise capital, either to buy the dip and chase the falling knife, um, or to cover margin calls. But some of that's going to happen. We know that it happened in 2008, happened in 2000. So be ready for that. Roger Smith, I'm a regional emergency manager at the Department of Transportation. Okay. Johnny Midas, Palm Desert. Really? No kidding, man. That's awesome. We're just down the street. Bubba the Kid, lost my MEP construction engineer job in Chicagoland during COVID, moved to South Carolina. I'm assuming SC South Carolina. Things are booming with the great separation occurring. Okay. Pistol Pete, online retailer, slow sales last few months, somewhat normal but concerning. I've got friends that are in all different areas as well. Things are slowing. Got regional managers, sales managers, uh, lawyers, doctors. I mean, things are slowing down. My practice, I purposely for July did my best to try to push stuff off because I knew I wasn't going to be around. But I'm not seeing as many calls, inquiries come in. I have new cases coming in the door, but it's not massive right now. And maybe that's just the summer slowdown. Now we're in August, so a lot of going back to school stuff, families taking vacations, but we'll see. I'll give you guys the real deal report when we get back into September. That will be telling. 'Cause normally I pick up in September when everyone's back to school. So let's see what happens with that. Let me look at my list. I did put a few things down here I wanted to talk with you guys about. Market sell-off, the comment from that one viewer. I'd be surprised if he or she is a subscriber because they were kind of hating on me that I was professing to be a market expert, and I'm definitely not that. I'm also definitely not, a gold salesman. I just kind of tell you guys what I'm doing and what I believe in right now. There will be a time, I think, if you're in the right place and you have the right financial situation to buy into the stock market, to acquire some rental properties, right? Maybe even to acquire more cryptocurrency. A lot of ways to go. Right now, a lot of people are just surviving day to day, right? And comment. I mean, if you guys, I see that a lot. I understand a lot of people are suffering, jobs are being lost. And unfortunately, it's probably just the beginning, guys. So Great Depression, interesting fact I read, 25% unemployment. So three out of 4 people still had a job. And the guy that wrote this book, or his son that reported his dad's diaries, um, the dad in the book said his practice basically came to a standstill. His fees were non-existent. They were trading fees, bartering fees for food, for buying passbooks, if you will, or people's bank accounts. that were worthless because the banks were closing down. Could it get that bad? I titled the video that today. I mean, how bad could this get? Could it get as bad as '08? I think it's going to be worse. Could it get as bad as 2000.com? How about the Great Depression? I mean, there's nothing to say that it can't. We have more debt right now. Um, we have more debt right now, guys, than we've ever had. And debt's the killer. And we know we have government debt at all-time highs. We have personal debt, consumer debt at all-time highs. That is the killer from my perspective. So bunkers won't protect the wicked. Okay. Look, I mean, I'm not a run to your bunker kind of guy. I do believe, and we'll share on these live streams as much as you guys want to talk about what I do for preparedness. I've been really in earnest preparing since probably 2012. And that means stocking food and water and medical supplies and security and all of the stuff that goes along with it. But at the same time, as I've shared before, I don't. It doesn't consume me. You just do it. You add to it. You make preparations. You keep the stuff organized. You keep it rotated. You're smart about it. Congress will not work on the debt, Betsy. No, of course they won't. Look, government, they're all about spending, spend, spend, spend. And I will say this: Trump will likely get elected. I'm obviously a supporter there, but he ran up tremendous amount of debt as well when he was in office. Okay, he's an OPM guy, other people's money guy. He always was when he was a builder of skyscrapers, and I'm not beating up on him. I'm just saying that that's his game plan. He was a market pumper when he was in office last time. Okay, so don't expect anything different. I remember him beating up on the Fed at the time about keeping rates low, and so that's just the reality of this. We're in this vicious cycle. I wouldn't expect this going to end under any administration. All right. Interesting. I was in Rome, the last couple of weeks, and go back and look at what happened to the Roman Empire. Right, in real time. I was sitting there walking among the Roman Empire, the ruins. Right, go back and look at what happened and why the Roman Empire fell. It's amazing, but that's what happens. Empires come to an end. So, where am I at here, guys? Markets. Let me shift gears a few minutes here. Look at some comments. Pete V. Squatchy. Good afternoon, y'all. Hi, Pete. How you doing? World War III will change a lot of people's futures or how they will try to prepare for the future. Well, that's true. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. Hopefully, we have somebody in office who is taken seriously enough to avert uh, World War III. Right? There's a lot going on in the Middle East right now. You wonder if other countries like China are eyeballing Taiwan, saying, "Look, now's the time to make this move because things are in shambles in the United States." Right? Who's really even running the country? I mean, who is running the country? It's scary to think about. Squatchy, how you doing, man? Should we carry old Roscoe? Should we worry about the government confiscating gold? Well, look, I mean, it happened a long time ago, right? In certain countries, and the issue is, if that would ever come to that, who gives up their gold? Who gives up their guns? I mean, if someone knocks on the door, do you say, "Sure, here's all my stuff"? I'm just saying. Lots of strings running the show. Yeah, lots of stuff happens behind the scenes that we don't have any understanding about, that we don't really appreciate or comprehend, and that's the goal, is to kind of keep uh, the common folk, if you will, from understanding all that. Right? I did a video a few days ago from Rome after I went to the Colosseum, and the tour guide that we had down there was talking about the whole bread and circuses, keeping everybody distracted. Right? Look over, don't look here, look over here. And you think that's not what's happening now? Absolutely, it is. Let's see what else you guys saying. We have 95 in the room. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll go as long as you guys want to go. I don't even know how long. I think I started at once. It was 40 minutes in. I had some more things to cover, and that's what I want these Saturday live streams to be about. It's just us kind of exchanging ideas, exchanging thoughts. I don't care where you're at with your finances, with your your job. Doesn't matter what you guys do for work, or let's say you're laid off or you're unemployed right now. Everybody is welcome to join here and share the situation, because this thing may get worse. Look, I mean, my practice could dry up, right? I mean, my phones could literally stop ringing. I mean, there's nothing to say that could not happen. You think I don't think about that? Absolutely, I do. Wake up during the night thinking about that. So, I have personally tried to prepare for that, have some backup, have some dry powder. And it's not all dry powder to go to invest when this thing crashes. It's just what happens if my work stops coming in the door. It could happen. All right. So everybody has to be, what's the right word? Humble. Talked about that a few weeks ago, I think, on one of the shows about humbleness and understanding that nobody is above this, that we all could fall victim to this unfolding downturn. Some people to a greater extent than others. Some people having plans, and some people have tremendous amount of debt, credit card debt, living within the means. I mean, that's obviously something that you have to start doing if you're not doing it, and that means don't spend more than you're taking in. Don't go out and and run up credit cards and do stupid stuff that, especially stupid stuff for things that have no real value. Okay, shopping channel stuff, and it just, I'm not going to get on that rant right now, but just be careful, right? We need to exercise. And that was my point today as well, as I was sharing in yesterday's video about the stock market. I wasn't saying don't buy stocks. I wasn't saying sell all your stocks. What I was saying is exercise caution. Caution is the word of the day. Doesn't mean there won't be a time to go out there, and better your situation and kill it. There will be. You have to have dry powder to do that. But a lot of people just going day to day, for sure. The message is exercise caution. And if you do have dry powder and you're just, the money's burning a hole in your pocket, take a step back. You don't know how many hundreds of clients over the years have come to me after they have made a bad decision, and they're in a bad partnership, or they're in they bought into a bad investment, whatever it is, and they want to try to extricate themselves out of the situation, or there's some liability that showed up that they weren't aware of, and now they're having to deal with. And when you're trying to play catch up after the fact, guys, it's very, very difficult. The system is not set up, unfortunately, to be forgiving. It's a pay to play system. I'm diverging a bit, right? But now I'm going back to my law stuff, which is, you just don't want to find yourself in that situation, right? So you got to exercise appropriate discretion, appropriate caution with anything, whether it's buying into the stock market. Do you even understand the stock market? Do you understand what you're buying? Are you hedged to the downside? Do you have appropriate stops in place that if the stock falls to a certain level, that your losses will be limited? Do you even understand the market cycles? I do not, and I don't profess to. Okay, will that be something that I'll spend more time with in the future? Maybe, but not at these levels. Marilyn J, you and JB are public, how it really is. JB and I were speaking yesterday for a while. In the morning early, we spoke. And we text a lot. As things are kind of unfolding during these days, we'll text. And then once in a while, not once in a while, we'll speak and kind of exchange ideas and thoughts. I think at one point yesterday morning when he and I were speaking, the market hit like 970 down. The Dow was down almost 1,000 points, and the question was they going to go over 1,000 and be a bigger bloodbath, or are they going to go back? And just discussing the 10-year yield was plummeting. We're talking about that, talking about how people are not really prepared for this, right? Especially those that have just that every single day think that everything's going to keep going in a straight line up, right? So yeah, we do speak. We are staying in touch, and I appreciate you guys watching his show as well, and my show. So um, we are, we are, let's say, accused of being doom and gloomers uh, and metals pumpers, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of other channels you guys can watch if the commenters don't agree with our perspective or don't agree with our assessment. A lot of times we're just sharing what is happening. I mean, maybe on a daily basis. Here's what happened today. For example, Intel stock sold off 25, 30%, right? Amazon stock sold off because Amazon missed their earnings. Berkshire Hathaway is liquidating Apple stock. This is just what's happening. If you choose to put your head in the sand and not pay attention to it, 93 people in the room. Thanks, guys. Let's try to get to 100 people in the room. That would be kind of cool. I don't want to go too long here, and let me know if you guys want to talk about any specific topic, if you have any certain questions. Um, Roger Smith, you missed JB's road trip to San Diego to see Ryan. No, actually, I watch it. And I had spoken with him, or he and I were texting. He told me he was going down. I think he and I spoke, or we texted. I was in Florence, and I texted him a picture of my Florentine ribeye, and he was saying he was going to be seeing Ryan, I believe. So no, I knew that was coming up. I'm glad he went down and saw Ryan. Ryan's a really good guy. I guess there's a lot. And let me digress. And this is not just coming from JB and Ryan, but I also spoke with a local coin person, a metals dealer, yesterday here locally to me. And people are flocking in to sell metals right now to pay their bills. Very sad, selling the metals off. I heard this from this one person yesterday. She said to me that she's getting people coming in, the kids bringing in their parents' gold and silver. Parents have passed away, and they're bringing the gold and silver in to sell it off to pay their bills, to pay their rent. You hear that, and uh, it's disheartening, but it's what's happening, right? At least the people that are selling off their metal right now to pay for their expenses and their bills and their rent and their car payment. At least they have that as an option. I am not one to say that you will never sell that stuff. Certainly, when you're going to sell it if you have to, it's liquid, and you might want to sell it if you're going to convert to some other asset. Maybe you have a big opportunity in real estate or a big opportunity in the stock market or crypto, whatever it is. You can't get attached to this stuff, okay? But my personal perspective is you would never sell your whole position anything. All right, you would retain a position for the substantial upside. Yeah, I understand. I know. I mean, I think about myself, having this stuff to give to my kids, uh, and then the thought of them going down to a local coin shop and dumping that stuff on the table to go out and buy a car or whatever it is. I don't know. It just yeah, it's like I say, it's kind of sad, but the stuff is there. At least it's there as an option. And let me share. That takes me to another story. The second story and the only other story I want to share with you today, which I pulled a couple days ago from Fox News, and I thought it's called "Growing Number of Americans with Jobs Are Homeless Thanks to Fast Rising Rents Inflation Report." And it's kind of hard to these younger people taking in gold and silver. Um, Mark Sweetser, I sold $80,000 of stocks right before the recent dip, going to pay off the new diesel. Look, I mean, the smart money sells. They sell when it's going up. They take profits. I tell my friends all the time, why don't you consider taking some profits? And go on the sidelines. Use it, deploy the capital elsewhere. But it's this greed mentality. It happens across all asset classes. It's this greed mentality where they think it's never going to end. They're going to keep making more gains. And there will come a time. Read this book, guys. If you have any interest, there will come a time where that reverses and everything changes, and the whole model gets turned upside down onto its head, right? And there's suffering. There's already suffering now. Um, End of 2011 was great for silver. Look, there have been good years in silver. Silver's very undervalued right now. But a lot of factors affect silver, not the least of which is manipulation, paper manipulation on silver. We know it's out there. We know the JP Morgan stockpile of silver. We know the positions, the shorts, the hedge funds that get involved in this stuff. And silver is an Achilles heel. And look, whenever it gets close to that $30 place, $31, it gets pulled back. So it also has industrial applications. And if we are truly, which I think all of us would agree, if we're truly embarking on this recessionary environment, maybe even depressionary environment, how is that going to impact silver? I mean, there's argument to be made that it will negatively impact silver in terms of the demand for silver. Again, I own physical silver. I'm a big believer in it. Give me your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Excellent book. I've read it. I have it and read it. Okay. Breeze away. It's a good book, guys, so far. I'm not done with it. I'll keep reporting on that. Okay, this story from Fox News a couple days ago. A growing number of Americans with jobs are still without homes due to rising rents and high inflation. Americans with jobs with that are without homes. And without homes means they don't own a home or rent a home. They have no home. Basically, they're homeless. Okay. Washington Post found local shelters and volunteer groups are showing an increasing number of people coming in who work steady jobs. One Tulsa organization reported the top reason cited by many people for being homeless is a lack of affordable housing. According to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, an estimated 653,104 people experienced homelessness on a single night in 2023, a 12% jump from 2022, making it the highest number of homeless people since the country began using the yearly point in time survey in 2007. Think about that. Highest number of homeless people since 2007. People who spoke to the Post shared stories of living in cars, hotels, or with friends outside homeless shelters. A few even admitted to sleeping in parks. Betsy, folks living in RVs and cars all over the YouTube. Yeah, it's true. It's happening. We're seeing a lot of that stuff pop up here in the desert. A lot of these homeless in camps and RVs. Says many people who spoke with the Washington Post said they're trapped in an impossible position, making too much money to qualify for food stamps and other types of government assistance, but not enough to secure housing, the article says. It continued, all said they were working towards saving enough to cover first and last month's rent, plus a security deposit required by many rentals, but were hampered by everyday living costs. One person said, I work 50 hours a week and it's still really hard to keep up. 22-year-old Amazon worker Aaron Reed said. I'll share a story with you. I had a jury trial before I left for Europe, and several of the jurors that we paneled before we picked the jury, I think we even had one or two jurors on the panel that were Amazon workers, warehouse workers, Amazon delivery workers. And they were explaining how there was a hardship for being on the jury because of the hours they were working. As I recall, also Amazon only paid for a couple of days of jury service. If you're an Amazon worker or you work at Amazon, let me know. Is that true? And what state are you in? Does Amazon pay for jury service? Little Roscoe, junk silver, if you really believe the end game is near, you might be able to use it without getting killed trying to do so. I love junk silver. Junk silver is 1964 and earlier. Dimes, quarters, $50. Love junk silver. I know also Bill Holter, who we interviewed with Jeremiah Babe and Texas and Aaron last year. Holter's a big junk or 90% silver guy. I do own a healthy stash, 90% silver. I think it's a good, let's say, element of a physical metals portfolio you might want to consider. I also, guys, I know people say that premiums on U.S. mint stuff, U.S. gold eagles, U.S. Buffaloes, silver eagles. I get it. People say the premiums are too high. They just buy the bullion, buy whatever bullion you can at the cheapest price. Look into that because there are rules. I agree, Roger. Professionals have their place in a well-diversified portfolio. You never go all in anything, right? You don't put all your eggs in one basket, but look into it in terms of diversification. Silver foam, food sales and distribution. Okay. Uh, I got sidetracked. What was I going to say in terms of the metals? But anyway, 90%. It definitely. Oh, okay. The Eagles, the U.S. mint coins. Look into it. You can sell those in any amount, any quantity back, okay, to a bullion dealer or whatever. Doesn't matter what quantity. Without capital gains taxes, you pay more premium on the front side, right? But when you sell them back, you don't. Again, I'm not a tax advisor. Do your own homework, do your own research, but that's my understanding. I've had it confirmed by several sources. Okay. What is the book title to which you're referring? Desiree. Hi, Desiree. Okay, here it is. It's Benjamin Roth, The Great Depression, a Diary. All right, that's it. And look, the way it's laid out, for example, you'll see his diary notes where he has by day, every couple of days, he was posting something. So August 17th, uh, he posts something. August 26th, 1931, he goes, starting in 1929, is when he started to, was that 29 or 31? Hold on. June 15th, 1931. Stocks continue to go lower and lower, and dividends are being slashed right and left. June 15th, 1931. For over a year now, people have been buying stocks, it says, at what they think are bargain prices. These prices are much below the 1929 level, but there's no way to tell if they have reached the bottom. Some present day prices are as follows, and he goes through some prices, and then he compares certain stock prices, what they were, over the period of time, and what they ended up falling to. Guys, it's shocking. So just look at history. Does history repeat? No. Does it rhyme? Yes. Do cycles have patterns? Yes. Just be cautious. Look at this stuff. We're down to 88 people in the room. Lost a few, but again, I'm going along here. We're basically at about an hour, so I get it. But again, I'm out here just kind of just talking with you guys, sharing stuff that I see. Again, the article says every day it's like, which bills can we actually pay? We're behind on our car payments. Then we've got gas, insurance, and phones. The National Low Income Housing Coalition reported a $20 per hour wage could only afford a two-bedroom apartment in 6 states, despite many states having a 15-hour per hour, $15 an hour minimum wage. So we have a lot of people in this country that have jobs. They're not even unemployed, and they can't afford to even rent a place to live, living in their car, living with their parents. Right? And how many 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds are living with their parents? Right? Maple Leaf bullion coins. Okay, Roger. I think Maple Leafs might be part of the same. Those are great coins. Sorry, guys, I'm losing some of these comments here. Let me get back over here. Betsy R. Yep, dimes, quarters, half dollars, got junk silver. Eric, Eric Pack, Eric, sorry, Eric. It's Pakowski, Pakowski. Appreciate you tuning in. I have metals and a 401k, also real estate mixed portfolio is best in my opinion. I agree. 401k, I know a lot of people, all my friends, 401k people. I get it. You're just understand you're putting in money, pre-tax. So when you pull out, you're going to pay your tax on the money. But and obviously, if the principal value goes down, that impacts. If you're relying on the 401k for retirement, obviously. But I'm not saying 401k is a bad way to go. I know a lot of people believe in that. Old Roscoe, too much easy money has the system all fluffed up. A little correction, and we'll all expect more and more easy money. Let's talk about that. If the Fed does what everyone thinks the Fed's going to do, which is going to come in here in September, maybe even before, with an emergency type intervention and start lowering rates, isn't that inflationary? Let me know what you guys think. I mean, lowering rates, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be done to save a greater collapse. I'm just saying that's inflationary. So isn't that what the Fed has, let's say, portended to be fighting for the last couple of years, is inflation? So if they really start coming in and cutting rates, what's that going to do? It's going to be inflationary. Is that going to stimulate more malinvestment, mal borrowing, mal spending? Probably. Is it going to uh, pump up the price of gold and silver and cryptos and stocks? I would say probably so. Is that a good thing? You guys can let me know what you think. Pistol Pete, hyperinflation. That's probably not too far from the truth, Pistol Pete. Eric's coming back from Prague today. Wow. How far is that? How long is that flight from Prague to LA? Silver for some of my metals have tripled from my buy price. Exactly. It's like anything else. If you buy right, look at the position you can be in, whatever it is, right? Same with real estate, same with stocks. If you acquired a portfolio of stocks in 2008, 9, and 10, when that thing crashed, if you had dry powder and you stepped in and bought stocks at the right price, you've kicked serious butt, right? Same with real estate. But if you bought high in real estate and got destroyed like I did on that one property, you're stuck. You can't do anything. Just above Italy. Okay. All right. I was 12 hours from Rome. It was a 9.5 hour flight from LAX to Paris. But then we did an hour and a half flight about 6 days later from Paris to Venice. And then we did a train ride from Venice to Florence for a few days, and then Florence to Rome, 2 hours each train ride. So we were down a little further south, not obviously as far down as Sicily, but it was still a 12-hour flight back to LAX from Rome. I'm still recovering from that. Still don't feel my energy is not back yet. Three houses on my street sitting, waiting to be rented. Market slowing. Silver. Yeah. Ox, can you read my last comment? Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Let me go back up. Hold on. Martin, where is it? I don't see it. Repost it and I'll read it. Restate it and I'll read it, Martin. Okay. Sorry, I don't see it. But my eyes aren't great. But I like this format. You guys okay with sound, with the video and audio quality? Give me a couple thumbs up if you are, because I'll stick with this format when we do these live streams. I'll just set up in this same situation and we'll just talk. By the way, if you guys have any questions for me, float them out there. Carry on, Ox. Thanks, Michael. Float them out there. If you guys have any questions for me, I like I said a few weeks ago, I don't want to. And Melissa, what did Melissa say? Oh, isn't it better to be debt free first, or do you prefer doing a little bit of everything before your debts are paid off? Melissa, you know, again, there is some debt from my personal perspective that it's not necessarily bad to have. And people say pay off your home. Look, I mean, having a mortgage, if you have a good value, debt to value ratio, having a mortgage from my perspective is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I know owning the asset, you don't really own it, you still gotta pay taxes, but, you do get tremendous interest write-offs, for some of this stuff, right? So, again, not, financial advice, but I think there are certain types of debts, if it's high quality debt, that it's okay to have. You just have to not have debt that exceeds your abilities, exceeds your income, exceeds your ability to, let's say, be prosperous. If you have an unforeseen event, a medical issue come up, you lose a job, whatever it is, you can't be straddled with so much debt, high quality debt or otherwise, that it leaves you with the inability to service it, right? Home debt can be good. Most car loans are bad debt. I don't disagree with that. I mean, vehicles obviously are depreciating assets. Uh, so real estate traditionally is appreciating asset. They are going to be going into a tough time here, guys, where real estate values are going to start coming down big time. Okay. I just want to know what Dave Ramsey would answer. Yeah, I don't follow Dave Ramsey that much. I know I see other people talk about him and address his comments. I know he's anti gold and silver. He's a real estate guy, but he's in a different place. He's acquired a lot of money, I mean, a lot of money. He's acquired a lot of real estate. He's been able to, obviously, from his show and from the stuff that he has, the businesses that he runs. Okay, so um, I don't know. I'm not. I can't comment on Ramsey. I don't watch him that much. 401k is the low hanging fruit. Okay. Vehicles or liabilities. Pete, I don't disagree with that. Vehicles or liabilities. Dave's only good to get out of debt. No, I don't. In terms of being debt free, there's a huge wisdom to that, and a freedom to that. That if something does happen, you're able to weather the downturn. You don't have those payments to make. Okay. Let me talk briefly about something that food costs, because I'm shifting gears a bit. But it was on my list to talk about. The last thing I had, oh no, on my credit card hack. Let me address a couple more things. We've got 94 people in the room, and we're going an hour and 8 minutes, so I'm going a little bit long. But that's the purpose of Saturday live stream, is just to kind of talk. So you guys, hopefully you'll stick around and we can keep going here. But let me talk about the food costs, and I want to hear what you guys are seeing. We know the cost of foods have been skyrocketing. My wife was at a Walmart yesterday picking up a few things, and she shared with me this morning that she was going to get a tub of cottage cheese, and tells me that within a year and a half or 2 years ago, this large tub of cottage cheese she recalls was about 3.50 or $4. And now she said it was $8.99 or something yesterday at Walmart for a tub of cottage cheese. That's a dairy product, obviously. And she also said that vegetables were much, much higher than they have been. I don't go to the store. If I go to the store, I go to buy a big fat ribeye to put on the grill, and that's the extent of my store visits. Fortunately, my wife takes care of the day-to-day shopping, so I don't have a real good finger on the pulse of what's going. I know prices are going up, but I didn't realize. I mean, for example, if that's accurate, let me know what you guys are seeing. If that's accurate, that is a doubling, more than doubling cottage cheese at Walmart. So again, what are you guys seeing? Vegetables? Are you seeing vegetables going up? Meats we know have been going up, eggs, things, all that kind of stuff. But I rely on a lot of what you guys tell me, and anecdotal stuff in terms of what's actually happening on the ground with the food prices. Because look, the reality is that we have to get this stuff. You don't have to go out, obviously, and get steaks as opposed to ground beef, or changing to chicken or pork. I understand that in terms of choosing what you're buying, but certain things you've got to get right. Bananas at Vaughn's, Trace, bananas at Vaughn's and Sprouts went up another 10 cents. Okay. Melissa Baker, onions, tomatoes, oranges, like things that were traditionally a little cheaper seem to be closer to the dollar now. Seem to be closer to the dollar now. Bread is a lot higher. Interesting. Kroger is not even carrying their brand of bread anymore. Okay, well, Pete, that's good. You grow your own stuff, man. That's awesome. Loss leader items, Roger. That's smart. Yeah. It's insane, guys. I mean, and again, the people that are living paycheck to paycheck, I get comments saying, "Well, you're not, in our position. You're a lawyer." It's not. Look, I want it. We're all have our own battles. Doesn't matter what level you're at, right? We all have a day-to-day struggle to at least food in Los Angeles. I believe it, Eric. We all have day-to-day things we have to overcome. It doesn't matter what level you're at. So it means a lot to me to hear from everybody. Okay. So yes, food costs are a major issue. I discuss it all the time on the shows about insurance costs. I am getting destroyed with my auto insurance. Now I have two teenage daughters, and they're both driving, and they're driving. They're on all of our vehicles. Maybe I have to change that around, but it's insane, what I'm paying a month. I'm not paying as much in auto insurance as I'm paying in medical insurance. And I feel like I get more value for my auto insurance than I do my medical insurance, and that's 2.5 times my auto insurance. But still, I think it's about $1,000 a month right now I'm paying for auto insurance. And I make, comment below, what do you guys see? What are you paying? So again, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's commensurate with what you're making. So in some respects, we're all in the same boat, just at different levels, if you know what I'm saying. But as a percentage, let's say, of my income, my insurance costs are probably the same as they are as a percentage of your income, whatever it is, your salary, your revenue streams. So that's what I kind of wanted to convey, the food issue. Yes, Christopher, this economy sucks. Christopher and Dara. Well, it does right now, guys. Yeah, my kids all have, student discounts, straight A discounts, good driver discounts, all that stuff. That's net of all that stuff that we apply. It's still that kind of money. That's the R buy local. It's better. Yeah, I think when you're in a more rural place, you have the buy local options. We don't have that here. We have the main stores, the Albertsons, uh, Trader Joe's. I know that we try to frequent for certain things that are less. Um, but State Farm quoted 85 per month. Travelers 1,200 per year. Leland Kelly. All right, it's insane, guys. I pay $2,500 a month for health insurance for the family. And I looked at a list, a printout of our deductibles. We haven't even. I've met zero of my deductible. I don't go to the doctor. I don't have any. I don't have any issues per se. Thank goodness. Fingers crossed. My kids have had a couple little things, but I think we've met like $300 of our deductible. It's like $7,500 per person. So all we're paying for is catastrophic issues. Now, granted, if you go to the doctor, they do insurance contributes something towards that, so it reduces your out of pocket expenditure. But still, it's massive, guys. Start fasting, give up the health insurance. Okay, it's all relative. Yeah, it is, Betsy. I mean, that's what people tell me. Well, you're not at our level. It's relative. Okay, trust me, it is. What's the last thing I want to share with you? Oh, let's talk about the credit card hack, and then I'll let you guys go. We're maintaining about 90 in the room. We're an hour and 13 minutes. Again, thanks, guys, on Saturday for showing up and sitting here with me. It's a little nerve wracking because I'm not used to doing live streams. Although I'm comfortable speaking in front of people, for the most part, I do it as part of my job. But it's different, right? So I'll get more comfortable. We'll start to do more questions and things like that. I don't trust the doctors, Roxanne. I understand. I get it. I have some really good friends of mine that are doctors. Maybe they're watching right now, and I hear stories that no one's perfect. Things do happen. So problem is that there's a system, and if something major happens, you need health. You need medical attention. Doesn't matter whether you have a heart attack, you have a stroke, You have a gallbladder blowout, you have a pancreatitis, you have whatever it is, you have to have medical attention. So, what happens to treasury rates if the Fed cuts? Well, I'm not an expert on that, but I would say if the Fed cuts, right, the interest rates are down. So, I mean, does that mean that you have that it makes more sense to hold lower yielding debt or not? I mean, give me your guys' comments. Well, I'm definitely not an economist. I know that when you're in a rate cutting cycle, typically you see stock market bounce, you see metals bounce because the opportunity cost of holding some of those things is less for certainly for physical gold and silver if the rates are coming down as opposed to higher rates when it makes more sense to maybe be in bonds or other things like that. The more you make, the more taxes, Vartan K. They take without qualifying for any benefits. That's true. That's right. The more you make, the higher tax bracket you're in, the more issues you have, the more people coming out of the woodwork to try to take advantage. And speaking of taking advantage, let's shift gears just briefly to this credit card situation. So I was in Rome on Monday night, I believe it was, literally in our room, about to go to sleep. And I get a security alert, and I get a call from my bank as the 800 number. So I answer it, and they say we flagged something on your debit card. It's a charge that went through, and I'll address that in a second. That went through for about $2,000. Somebody purchased a computer in Washington State using my debit card. While I was in Italy, I obviously didn't use my debit card to buy a computer. I explained that it was not my charge. And of course, not of course, but unfortunately, this bank allowed that charge to go through. And so the money was deducted from my account and then it was put in dispute. Now, I did about a day ago get that money put back in the account, but it took about a week. So without those funds, and well, they had to cancel the debit card, and they have to reissue the debit card. So everything I have tied to that card, I have some court online filing things, I have some subscriptions, everything tied to that card. I have to go back and redo the input. Um, Yeah, exactly, Barton. They shouldn't have allowed to go through. And I'll explain to you the next day. This is why I'm concerned about some other bigger things. The next day, I also have a couple Chase accounts. This is on my local bank where I have my business account. But my Chase debit card also got attacked or hacked. And Chase Bank, and I'm not necessarily praising Chase Bank, but they flagged it. It was another $2,000 charge for something else. They did not approve the charge, and they sent me a email saying this looks suspicious. Is this realistic or not? Is this a good charge or not? And I said, no, I don't recognize the charge. And they declined it. Did not go through. My local bank, my mid-sized bank, did allow that charge to go through. And I will say this: looking back, I used my debit card one time in Europe, one time for like a $13 charge because I had left the American Express card in the safe in the hotel, and I used it. So it must have been in that one little transaction for some souvenir or something that I just pulled that card out, and somebody got a hold of that number and hit that account. So, guys, beware of this stuff. It's happening. It's obviously easy for these people to get this information. And of course, I was concerned about did they have my social security number? Whether what information did these people have? Because in back-to-back days, I received a call from my local bank and from my Chase Bank, different accounts, different debit cards. So someone had the information. So I did confirm with the Social Security, the credit bureaus. Nothing was put through. Oxcart put a debit card lock on it. Yeah, it's locked. It was locked immediately, and they're going to reissue the card. Xbox. Yeah, no, nothing's secure anymore, guys. It's not secure anymore. And the thing is they get the social security number, and they start to apply wherever they start to apply for credit in your name. You can have a fantastic credit score. All of a sudden, you have a credit being applied for in your name, and that you didn't apply for, and it can be a disaster for the credit score. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, what they're doing is my banker I was talking to yesterday, and they're testing. Like they'll take $1 or two out of the account, let's say for a test case, see if they can get away with it. Eric and I from Prague, Matt. I'll tune in once I'm back in LA. Okay, Eric. Yeah, I want to meet you sometime, man. I appreciate it. Safe travels and get back safe. I'm diverging a little bit. I'll go back to this little $1 or $2 withdrawal things in a second, but I will say this: I did feel a bit vulnerable in Europe. It's hard not to feel vulnerable being abroad. I'm not a big abroad traveler in the first place. Although I was enjoying my time, you do question certain things. I was there when the systems went down with the CrowdStrike thing and the Microsoft, and flights were being canceled and delayed, and Delta got hit. And so it was a bit concerning, obviously, because you wonder, well, is this going to get worse? And also we have all the issues. There was another attack, I believe, with the Israel and the Hezbollah stuff that was getting, let's say, back, flamed up again, and so it does give you pause, because the reality is, if you are not, and with all the faults that the United States has, and we're here talking about it all the time on this channel, if you're not on U.S. soil, you just do not have the same rights, the same benefits, the same protections. All right. Also say this, as you guys all know, I'm a big proponent in self protection, security, and carry, and it was very vulnerable not to have that at my disposal. All I can say is you have to suck it up and just put it aside and just go on, and just decide that you're going to experience some things, and not and hopefully, I don't like the word hope, but hopefully things don't get out of control. Round steak was a cheap cut of steak. Now it's 14.98 a pound at Winco. Yeah, that's expensive. Danny, use cash or credit card for all purchases. Pay off each month. Do not use a bank debit card. Never have. I understand that. I like the debit card because it's same as cash, right? You don't have to have. I do carry cash, but you don't have to have cash for every transaction. Depending on where you're at, it may not be feasible or practical to have cash or pay with cash. But I'm understanding that now, that the debit cards are more vulnerable. I just like it because you're not going into debt. Even if you pay it off each month, you're not racking up any kind of an obligation. Once it's out of your account, it's paid for. So I know what you're saying on the debit card. So that's something I gotta think about and work that through on my game plan. Um, I got sidetracked again. Sorry, guys. I was talking about something and forgot. Oh, being on American soil. With all the problems we have, you still have certain rights in certain states that you're in, definitely not in California, where you have unfettered right to self protection, unfettered right to carry whatever choice of firearm you want to carry, and have with you at your disposal. And I'm jealous of that, by the way, wherever you guys are all at. I know Aaron in Texas, enjoys that, understands that, and appreciates those freedoms. So state to state, obviously, you guys, obviously, look at the laws in your state. If you're whatever self protection mechanism you're using, okay, there's certain states, even in California, there's certain knives we can't have, a certain length of blades. There's always restrictions. Guns, we know that. Types of ammo you use, you got to be real careful with it. Okay. Danuta, is it? I hope I say it right. Danuta, um, God bless you for making this channel and all those watching. I like your comments. I appreciate you. You're always very, very encouraging, and always providing positive comments. So thank you for watching and tuning in. Where are you? Let me ask, where are you, what state are you in, Danuta? So I did feel some vulnerability there, okay, which I think is goes without saying wherever you're at. If you're outside the United States, and I've heard some stories, talking to a client yesterday, he was in Italy last year, and he got taken aside by the Italian police, and they accused him of riding a bus that he hadn't paid to ride, and they basically said, we're gonna take you into custody if you don't pay a certain amount of money. I never had any situation like that unfold. Never felt uncomfortable, never felt threatened. I will say that, but still, you are vulnerable. That's just a fact of the reality. That's just the reality. All right. So glad to be back. We have a great sheriff, don't we, Matt? Well, if we're talking about Riverside County, this guy is doing pretty good stuff. And he's gonna probably make a run for governor now. I understand. So pepper spray in California's limited. Yep, I understand that. Everything is everything is has restrictions, limitations. You gotta be very, very careful. Did I covered everything I wanted to cover with you guys today. Just thoughts I had and discussion. Where's this thing going to go next week? It's anybody's guess. You would think they're going to find a way, the cavalry, if you will, to get these markets propped back up. Okay. And to not let this bloodshed continue. But when you get a sentiment change in anything, it Arpaio, yeah, Arpaio's legendary over in Arizona. Isn't he the one that makes the inmates wear pink underwear? The guys that get DUIs and stuff. Doesn't he make them wear pink underwear? He used to be that. I heard that years ago. He'd make them wear pink underwear. Um, but look, when you have a sentiment shift, that's not necessarily controllable. Okay, when you have mass exodus from, everyone says they run for the exodus at the same time. When you have a mass exodus from any asset class, whatever it is, stocks, bonds, metals, cryptos, real estate, right? It can have a profound impact. So, guys, just be cautious, right? We need to watch this thing unfold. Election year, election selection year. A lot's going to happen between now and November, and then after November, obviously, Chad Bianco. Bianco's uh, Desiree. Thanks, Ox. Thanks, Desiree. Appreciate you being here. Uh, okay, good night, Nicole. Thank you. I'm gonna sign off here in a second anyway, but appreciate you being here and commenting. Okay, Roger. Thanks. Gonna get going here. It's been a long hour and 20, hour and a half almost. Thank you guys for the first official live stream. I'm gonna shoot for Saturdays. Probably 2 live streams a week is too much. I'll do my regular videos throughout the week, and let's shoot for Saturdays for live stream. It will convert to a regular video. So if you don't get to tune in for the live stream, yeah, Tent City and Pink Underwear. Yep. If you don't get tuned in during the live, you guys can watch it later on, or flip through and watch whatever portion you want. Thanks, everybody. Please support the channel. Let's continue to get the word out, spread the information. I'm going to keep doing my part, come out here, and we'll keep discussing current events. Thanks, Melissa. I'll keep answering questions for you guys to the extent that I can, given my knowledge. If I don't know something, I'll tell you. If I'm not comfortable with something, I tell my clients all the time. They ask me, I get questions every day. Matt, what about this, this, and this? And I'll say, look, I don't know. I got to look into that. I'll tell them. All right. So no one's an expert at anything. We're not all stockbrokers and experts in crypto or whatever it is. So I do what I do. You guys all have your expertise. Let's continue to build the community, share ideas, share thoughts. We all need one another to do this. With that being said, right about an hour and a half, I'll leave it there. And let me see if I can I guess, end the stream. There's a button here I can click. So thanks, guys. Laura, thank you for giving us info in plain language. Absolutely. That's what I try to do. Trace, I appreciate you. Betsy, thank you. Pete, thank you. It's good to be back. I will say this briefly: my workouts. I've been struggling the last couple of days. I have not got my energy levels back yet. I underestimated the impact the travel would take on me. So I'm still kind of get myself back into the workouts. Melissa, Trace, old Roscoe, you done good. Thanks. Appreciate you, old Roscoe. All right, buddy. You guys all mean a lot to me. Okay, I really mean that, bottom of my heart. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to sign off. Bye.